Now, fans of the rock band The Who will be pleased to hear that their legendary music will be recreated in Havant next Friday. Tribute band Sensation will be rocking out at the Spring Arts Centre for a night of non-stop hits from one of the most influential bands of all time. And they join me now on the sofa to tell me more. But first, I think we're going to take a sneak peek of what you can expect.
I must have played them all, but I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays to me in pinball. Make the new ball, say that's the old ball. Yeah.
Well, it all sounds fantastic. And one of the first songs we heard there was Pinball Wizard from the movie Tommy.
Yes.
Now, is it mandatory that every time you play that you have to burn a pier down?
Not these days, I don't think. No, it's a lot less violent, I think. We're just all about the music for a couple of hours, yeah.
Brilliant. And talking of the music, obviously The Who, they're a massive band back in the day, still very massive today. What was it about their music that kind of is what you guys wanted to focus on?
I don't know. People are still listening to it today, and all that classic rock stuff from the 60s and 70s. It's just still there. It's still relevant, and you know, people are still going back to that. And The Who had, I'd say, sort of various sort of incarnations, sort of your mod and your rocker, the rock operas, and then they're still going now. So I mean, you know, it's still there for a reason, and it's just great music to play. It's really infectious, I think.
Good fun.
Yeah.
And you say it's great fun, so you play bass in the band, and
Yeah.
I mean, how did it come about that you got involved with these guys?
I joined the band like kind of later, and I just got recommended to Kevin.
Yeah. Oh, she's a rather fantastic bass player.
Oh, thank you.
What we try to do with this, say the word tribute, which is sometimes a dirty word in this country, is we kind of do a celebration of the music in some of the early hits. Then we do whole sections from Tommy, we do a whole section from Quadrophenia, and then some later hits. And you know, for 2 hours of trying to fit it all in is quite a. So, but we haven't kind of gone for the wigs and silly shirts and that kind of stuff. We've gone really good musicians, really good singers, and make it, you know, a night out of people celebrating the music of The Who, which is, you know.
Well, they do say that imitation is the highest form of flattery, so you've got a whole plethora of classic hits, like you said, from a couple of really iconic films as well, but how did you guys go about narrowing it down to almost like a greatest hits, if you like?
It's tricky. There's way too much stuff. I did a version of Tommy in London a couple of years ago, which is how this kind of idea started. And even just chopping down Tommy alone, you know, to some of the, you know, it's all good stuff, I think. And again, Quadrophenia, which isn't so much a sung-through kind of film. It's all part of the music is in amongst the film, and then you've got all the other hits. So yeah, it's about what not to do is the hardest point, and there'll always be people who come up afterwards and say, you know, why didn't you play that one? Because you know they had however many albums and you can't fit it in.
Well, that's it. That's it. It's, unless you kind of do back-to-back shows like for 24 hours.
We do a week of shows. And we do all the hits. Yeah.
Brilliant. And have you guys ever met any of the band?
No, I haven't, sadly. I think they're... I don't know, you know, when you're still touring as The Who, I think to sort of... It's nice that there are tribute bands out there kind of doing the music, I suppose, but I don't think they're maybe that fussed about it. We're having fun because we enjoy it, and it is good music, you know. And I think there'll still be bands playing Who music in, you know, 30, 40 years' time, whereas I suspect there won't be Justin Bieber tribute bands in
probably not
2056. I don't know.
So how long have you guys been gigging together and touring as The Who?
As The Who, the show's been on the road for a couple of years, and it does sort of some foreign dates, and we've only got 3 left as part of this kind of tour over the summer. It kind of goes out in sort of a few dates here and a few dates there. And I do loads of other gigs with Anna Maria as well, all sorts. So yeah, we've been going for about 2 years really.
Okay. So as well as playing well-known hits that people will have known, do you also play a lot of your own music separately?
You were just talking about this on the way down, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like we have like our different projects as well, like artists and songwriters and stuff. So yeah.
But do you take a lot of sort of the Who's music as inspiration for your own then? I
mean, like for me, I grew up listening to this kind of stuff, so it's just it's very cool for me to like be involved in such a project. But yeah, it definitely keeps me inspired to like do other things as well. So yeah.
I think everything's a little bit derivative, but if it's derives from this type of classic rock, it can't be a bad thing, really. I suppose. Yeah.
And I suppose for some people that term classic rock, I mean, how do you differentiate, say, your classic rock from some of your more modern stuff?
I have no idea. If it makes your toes tap or it makes you boogie, then it's good. I like every style of music. It has some kind of merit, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, there's something about these tunes when, like you were talking about Bubba O'Reilly and stuff. As soon as you hear the intro to something, you know, and you can remember the first time you heard it, and it does something to you. There's a lot of the Who songs do that. You sort of one chord, the way sort of Pete Townsend used to play that, and you go, "Oh, that's the Who."
Sends shivers down your spine when you hear it.
I think that's what we try and emulate, that side of it, rather than poses and wigs. So,
I think what I particularly like about music from that sort of era is that it's stuff that you can hear what the lead singer's saying. It's not sort of the guitars drowning it out or anything like that. Yeah. And like you said, that from that first bar, you know exactly what the tune is, and then you've got it stuck in your head for days.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think a lot of those kind of bands from the day were not political, shall we say, but they had something to say, and it was a very exciting time. The 60s was a change for all, youth culture and all that kind of stuff. And I think those kind of bands, that's another reason why we might be still talking about it today, is that they all had something to say, and they were, really on it, I think. And and still relevant today, I suppose.
Excellent. Well, we talked about the fact that you're playing this gig at the Spring Arts Centre in Havant.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to come along and get involved and see you guys, what do they need to do?
They can ring the box office, which they can find out by going to thewhosensation.com.
Fantastic. And have you played at the Spring before?
I have
No, it's our first time. I've been down here to various other venues, but not to the Spring. So we're very much looking forward to that. And I think there's only a few tickets left, so get in.
And I mean, are you guys going to take the chance to explore around Havant and surrounding area whilst you're here performing?
Yeah, she was just saying that she hasn't been to the seaside down this side of the world, so we might try and get a little bit earlier next Friday and go and have ice creams.
Well, I recommend go down to the end of Hayling Island. I think you'll really enjoy it. There's a nice little fun fair and penny arcade and everything.
Right.
And just don't burn that down.
No, we'll leave the piers alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining me, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in, and all the very best of luck for next
Thank you.
Friday's
Thanks for having
gig.
us.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.